think there's going to be several factors that drive M&A in 2018. I think you're going to have the stock market valuations of the public banks. They are at, for the most part, an all-time high. And with that, you have aggressive buyers that want to use their stock as currency. They're going to continue to do that throughout 2018, as long as there's stability in the stock market. I also think that the regulatory relief and the easing that should come in 2018 will bring some institutions that maybe were a little bit larger and because of that size have sat out some of the M&A activity over the last few years. It should bring them back to the table. We may see some mergers of equals of institutions of larger size as well. I think finally you're going to see that deposit growth. Deposits are going to be such a huge component for all banks out there in 2018. And so to acquire more deposits by acquiring other institutions will absolutely be a motivating factor for M&A activity in 2018. I think in 2018, you'll continue to see a few barriers that will prevent certain sellers and certain buyers from coming together. I think the lack of motivation for certain sellers, whether it's their shareholder base, their board, or the management team, really prevents certain sellers from considering deals that come to the table that normally you would think that they would take. It also forces buyers to offer more money because they've got to get a seller motivated to actually do the deal. I think one of the other areas or issues that we've seen over the past few years that'll continue is with the lack of de novos being out there for management teams that don't want to retire, but they also don't want to go to a bank that's bought them and just sit there. And so if they're not incorporated into the management team of the new bank, there's not a whole lot of opportunity out there right now. If we could see more de novos, which means more opportunities, I think you would see more motivated sellers. The final issue is really just stability. Everybody wants to see a stable marketplace, a stable buyer, a stable seller, stable regulatory environment. If you get those factors going, which I don't know that they won't be, but that's one that if we can keep a stable marketplace, you're going to see M&A activity really increase throughout 2018. Shareholder lawsuits are a concern for buyers and sellers going forward. They always will be. You're never going to completely eliminate the ability of somebody else to sue. However, I don't think that should stop buyers and sellers from pursuing a transaction. The issue here is really that you need to have policies and procedures in place to minimize that risk. If you get with your outside counsel, you get with your management team and your board of directors and you sit down and you really go through your policies and procedures of how you're going to deal with an offer that comes in or how you make an offer to another bank and how you are going to walk through each step of that transaction, evaluate it, and do what's best for your shareholders. You can consult with your outside counsel about what your obligations really are. When you have all of that in place and then you follow all of those steps, you really minimize the risk of shareholder lawsuits, whether you're a buyer or a seller. But you're never going to completely eliminate somebody for whatever reason that wants to sue you.